In today's video, we're going to be talking about an artist that made headlines regularly, although ironically it wasn't due to their musical success. Though he did have 4 successful studio albums, 2 of which were certified gold and a 3rd platinum, his offenses seemed to far outnumber his accolades. From unnecessary beef to club shootings, a DUI, and taking a loaded Glock to an airport by mistake, he has been through the ringer for every offense you could possibly imagine. If the title and misdemeanors have not clued you in by now, I'll just come out and say it. Today we're gonna be talking about Plies. What up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Prior to his accidental success, and yes, you heard it right, it was accidental, Plies had absolutely no desire to become a rapper. Plies was born in the late 70s in Florida. While at school, he was an excellent football player and was well known by his peers. He was crowned homecoming king and voted best dressed student, as well as impressively clinching the position of valedictorian of his high school class. He then went on to study for 2 years at Miami University, where he earned several more impressive football stats before transferring to the University of Central Florida and promptly dropping out. So how exactly did he go from a university student and stellar football player to a platinum-selling artist? Well, it all started in the late 90s after he dropped out of university. He and his stepbrother got together and decided to start their own record label, one they called Big Gates Records. This was around 1999, and it was around this time that he took up Plies as his moniker. Plies is essentially a slang term for a drug dealer, and he adopted the name to help add credibility to his larger-than-life criminal persona. It was quite a fitting title for him, considering his various run-ins with the law later in life. When he first started out, he had always intended to remain in the background when it came to music, preferring the art of production to the fame that went along with being an artist. However, that all changed when he was coaching a client for the single Tell Them Crackers That. His performance on the single surprised both himself and the gang at Big Gates, and they decided to keep him on the track and market it. The single dropped around 2003 with Plies listed as a featured artist for the first time ever. It was so successful that it earned him a deal with Slip and Slide Records around 2004. After realizing, I can make a lot of money doing this, Plies dove headfirst into the scene, releasing several mixtapes. In the following 2 years, he released 2 mixtapes through Slip and Slide and Big Gates, namely 36 Ounces, A Whole Brick, and 100% Real N***. These mixtapes helped him find his voice as an artist and spread his name. Now, before he could really get his name out into the world, Plies woke up and chose violence. Now, I'm just messing around. But he did get into some really hot water with the police for his involvement in a 2006 club shooting. Around 2006, he was supposed to perform after Little Boosie, but was informed that his performance time would be cut down by 15 minutes to make some extra time for Boosie. Although he didn't seem too upset and was actually taking pictures at the time, 2 members of his crew, one of which was his brother Ronell, took offense to those 15 minutes and fired guns into the crowd.
Plies' brother, Ronell Levette, was convicted and served time for the crime. But these 5 Gainesville residents say Plies is also responsible for their pain and suffering.
Though no one was fatally injured, 5 people were badly hurt and needed medical attention. He was later released on a $10,000 bail. After the shooting, he was sued for $10 million and was found guilty, despite testifying that he had nothing to do with the actions of his brother or any other man. Each of the 5 victims was awarded $200,000 in damages, and Ronell ended up spending 3 years in prison for attempted murder and had to pay each of the victims $40,000. Despite the chaos around him, Plies really tried to focus on his music. He released 2 more mixtapes titled Bottom to the Top and Truth Hurts before he finally dropped his highly anticipated debut album around 2007. The album was titled The Real Testament and immediately smashed onto the charts. His strategy in releasing 4 mixtapes to find his sound before hitting his audience with final results was formidable. His album peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and sold about 96,000 copies in the first week. It was also certified gold by the RIAA less than 6 months later. 2 singles were released from the album, and both of them performed very well. His debut single, titled Shorty, featured T-Pain and rocketed up the charts, topping the US Billboard Hot Rap charts and peaking at number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100. The second single, Hypnotized, featuring Akon, also did well, as it peaked at number 14 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Now it seems Plies was doing so well on the music scene that everyone wanted a piece of his success, including Trick Daddy. Now around 2007, Trick Daddy attended one of Plies' concerts in Orlando and could not seem to contain his excitement. He got the DJs to shut down the music and tried to get Plies to perform I'm So Hood so that they could rap together. That's a mighty brave thing to do to a rapper in the middle of his set, and Trick Daddy definitely suffered for it. Plies and his goons jumped down from stage and gave Trick Daddy a beating before jumping back on stage to complete his performance.
The time me and Trick ain't really talked.
Mesh.
Right.
Was it the slip and slide thing that
we just never talked.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it was probably things on his end that he probably felt a certain way about. It was things on my end I never felt a certain way about.
Mm-hmm.
But any kind of way.
Yeah, but it was just...
I'm just a person that I'm always doing my own thing, and I know that can send the wrong message to people. So besides that, you know, I kind of mind my own business.
Plies didn't really address the situation again, despite Trick Daddy talking a whole lot about him on Instagram and in interviews. When Plies declined to attend the shooting of DJ Khaled's Out Here Grinding video, Trick Daddy jumped on the gram to vent his true feelings about Plies, calling him fake. He then gave an interview around 2008 with Ozone magazine, blasting him when asked about the altercation and explaining his version of events. Plies is a bitch. Me and Plies' problem started because I walked up on Plies talking about he didn't want me at his show, and I was only coming to support. Ever since then, he has refused to even get on the phone like a man and talk to me about it. Anytime I walk by accidentally, they start running. When I shot the DJ Khaled Out Here Grinding video shoot in New York, Plies wouldn't come because he didn't know I was on the record. Despite Trick's accusations, Plies took the higher ground and ignored him. Hyped off his success, Plies dropped not just 1, but 2 studio albums around 2008. The first was Definition of Real in June, and the second was The Realist in December, just 6 months later. The first single from the Definition of Real was Busted Baby Part 2 featuring Neo, which preceded the album, landing on the charts in January of 2008. 6 months later, Definition of Real dropped, followed 3 days later by the single titled Please Excuse My Hands featuring Jamie Foxx and The Dream. The singles performed reasonably well, but it was the album as a whole that took the cake. Definition of Real replicated its first album's feat, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and selling about 214,000 copies in the first week, eventually being certified gold by the RIAA just 3 months after its release. By the time Plies dropped The Realist, he was losing momentum with his fans. The album sold about 114,000 copies in the first week and still earned a gold certification, but he was never able to match the success of his debut and sophomore attempts. The Realist peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200 and spawned 3 singles, none of which properly cracked into the charts. The singles were Put It On Ya, Want It, Need It, and Plenty Money. In 2009, Plies dropped a compilation album titled The Lost Sessions, but after his roller coaster 2008, it wasn't until 2010 that a new studio album graced his fans. His 4th and final studio album was called Goon Affiliated, and it was his only album to fail to gain certification by the RIAA. The album hit fans around June of 2010 and peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200. This was marginally better than his third album, but still failed to gain that gold certification. The singles from the album are titled Becky and She Got It Made, but both failed to break it into the main charts. In other words, this album was a flop. Despite the quiet studio year, Plies dropped a lot of music around 2010. He started the year off with the EP Three-Headed Monster before turning his focus to his final album. After the album, he once again returned to his signature mixtapes, dropping 3 in rapid fire between September and December. The mixtapes were called You Need People Like Me 1 and 2 and No Chaser. In the next few years, he banged out several more mixtapes, slowly losing momentum as he went. He dropped I Fuck With a DJ, Aristotle, On Trial 1 and 2. Man, the guy dropped a lot of mixtapes. In fact, around 2020, he dropped his latest mixtape, but we'll get into that a bit later. Throughout this time, he has continually teased as well as dropped promotional singles for his 5th studio album to be titled Purple Heart. It started around 2011 when he announced the title of the album and dropped the first promotional single called Just, featuring Jeremiah and Ludacris. Then around 2012, he dropped his second promotional single called With You. But then in 2013, he released another 2 singles for the album titled F***ing or What and Faithful. Then around 2015, he dropped another first and second single for the album titled Find You. After 5 promotional singles and 11 years, I think it's safe to say that this album is never coming out. Now, Plies may have had the hype in the 2000s as an artist, but he was more of a hot topic for different reasons over the next decade. Around 2011, his name made headlines again in relation to guns. While at a concert in Orlando, a fan threw a cup at his head, prompting an angry tirade from the rapper.
He still plugging in? Hey, bro, I swear to God on the stack of Bible, bro. And if I'm lying, little people ain't sure.
I swear to God, next person to throw something up here, I'ma shoot this up in here right now. Next that throws something up here, they gon' get it, bro. The incident was caught on video, but luckily for him, aside from being the subject of the rumor mill for a few months, he faced no consequences. Now around 2012, he made headlines. Positively though, when the ruling from his 2006 court case was overturned. Remember? The one where his brother went to jail and he was out $1 million for a crime he had no control over and didn't actually commit. Either way, his lawyer got the case overturned due to the fact that there was no evidence that he had a gun, had entrusted someone with a gun, or even knew that anyone in the establishment had a gun in the first place. So his $1 million remained in his pocket and his name was cleared, although his brother still faced all of his offenses. Around 2013, he was sued by a concert booking company called Delmont Productions for canceling a show and allegedly screwing them out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The lawsuit went into detail about the whole affair, citing that Plies was supposed to perform in North Carolina around 2008, but that he canceled because he had a conflicting show and then failed to appear or perform as agreed. The lawsuit also detailed the costs that the promoters had paid, totaling a massive $315,000, as well as a huge number of tickets sold for the concert. On the night of the cancelled concert, Plies performed for a sold-out show of 25,000 people. The promoters, meanwhile, had anticipated making over $1 million from the gross ticket sales, with the company earning about $750,000 in profit. Almost 2 years later, it made headlines again, as Plies had failed to respond to the allegations in court, despite the promoters claiming that they had served him with legal papers. Plies blasted the company, saying that he hadn't signed a contract with them and that the whole case should be thrown out. Unfortunately, this didn't happen, and the promoters then filed documents demanding a default judgment in the case, which would see Plies paying them a total of $750,000. In August of that year, the court granted the default judgment to the amount of $504,000, with the stipulation that it would continue to gain interest until the full amount had been paid. That same year, just before the court judgment came through, Plies made headlines again, this time for something kind of funny. The rapper felt the need to prove himself to a fan while performing at a concert in Tallahassee around 2015. The fan was getting rowdy in the audience and was in the process of being escorted out of the venue by security when he caught Plies' attention. Plies told his security team to bring the man up to the stage so that the pair could talk face to face. And this is where Plies fucked up. While they were standing on stage, Plies told the fan that he was standing too close to him, and the fan responded by suplexing him into the audience. He could not make this shit up. Security immediately separated them, and the fan received quite a beating for the attack. Videos of the incident went viral, and less than 24 hours later, both parties had released videos about the incident. In the fan's case, he claimed to be a huge Plies fan, but felt disrespected by Plies on stage and had reacted accordingly. Judging by his bruised face and swollen lip, he may have learned a lesson about messing with rappers on stage. Plies, on the other hand, couldn't get his story straight. He went straight to the gram to address the incident and initially denied that there was security at the venue, despite the video evidence proving otherwise. The clips were soon deleted, and he seemed to take the whole event in his stride, seemingly mocking the incident in a later clip. 2015 was just a really intense year for Plies overall. In addition to the lawsuit and the fan incident, he got into it with Young Thug over Young Thug's daughter. It all began around September of that year when Plies unknowingly posted a video of Young Thug's daughter cursing at her mother on IG. In the clip, the child repeatedly says, "I'm motherfucking tired," and Plies captioned the post, "Current mood, I'm motherfucking tired, not tired. Hashtag Plies, hashtag ain't no mixtape, bleh." Naturally, Young Thug took a huge offense to the video and lashed back with his own profanity-laced video on IG.
Man, listen, I want everybody in the world to act this fuck nigga Plies and tell this pussy ass nigga him take this motherfucking video of my daughter off of his motherfucking page, calling out her name. It's gonna be a problem. That video ain't down today on everything I love. It's problems, bro. With whatever you want to be with, pussy ass.
Plies was taken by surprise, but still lashed back with equal profanity in his own since-deleted video, where he claimed that he would not disrespect kids and that he didn't know that the kid was Young Thug's.
Fuck nigga.
Foremost, I never disrespect nobody, churn, never have and never will. I put up an IG poster, a little girl, I ain't know who the fuck she was. All I know, she was speaking on how I felt, nigga, and still feel like she's speaking for me. And if you had a problem with it, fuck, nigga, you asked me to take it down. You don't threaten me to do nothing, pussy, nigga.
Whoa, big guy. You sound like you a little frustrated and mad. Knowing damn well you was dead ass wrong, bitch ass nigga. You said you don't disrespect a person kid, but you called my daughter a bitch several times. Hit the video down.
Once again, Young Thug clapped back with the caption, "You're not the only bitch in trouble, the mom is too. I will never condone my child cursing, and had I known about it, it wouldn't have been on the internet." It wasn't long before another rapper took shots at Plies around 2016, and this time it was Femc Kaya. Plies seemingly came for Plies out of the blue and claimed he was in the closet, although he didn't know that he was in there in the first place. In a series of videos, she called him the biggest closet creeper of 2016.
The closet creeper of 2016 that y'all been sleeping on is that damn plot.
And went on to explain that he had been a fairy all along, and while everyone else was ignoring it, she had seen it from the beginning. She then bashed him by saying that although many fans say that she sounds similar to him, it's actually Plies that sounds similar to women. After this, she compared him to Prince, mocking him for his pink and purple wardrobe choices, and explaining that his overall mannerisms are feminine.
And that pink and purple baby blue wearing ass motherfucker. Y'all know I said that on that goddamn nigga. I'm sick of you motherfuckers for real. I'm about to tell that I'm the last real motherfucker standing for real.
Come on, Kaya. It was 2016. Yo, what's wrong with the man that wears purple? Plies could barely contain his laughter in the response video, and in between bursts of laughter he said,
I told her, don't get mad at me, because nobody don't want none of that little dirty pussy. That little little dirty pussy. I'll pour some water on that little pussy. That pussy turn into mud. Oh, little dirty pussy.
She took massive offense to that and posted another video with a lengthy caption claiming victory that he had taken the bait. She wrote, "Listen to this sugar sweet, WB frogmouth looking very vocal range." Yo, Kaya ruthless. Wait for the side towards the end though. This ball's being clipped. Y'all hear this bitch's laughter? It seems Plies took the higher path and chose not to respond further, probably because he was trying to avoid more BS. Around 2017, Plies once again landed in hot water with the police over a drunk driving incident. The cops pulled over Plies and a woman at around 2:35 a.m. for driving the wrong way down a one-way street. He attracted their attention after making an extended lane change, and when they pulled him over, they could smell alcohol on his breath despite him having gum that he was chewing to hide it. He claimed he had only had one drink, but according to reports, his eyes were watery and bloodshot, his speech was slurred, and he was swaying while standing. To rub salt in the wound, he refused both a breathalyzer and a field sobriety test. Although he denied the charges, he eventually took a plea bargain which reduced the DUI to reckless driving, requiring him to pay a $500 fine and have his license revoked for a year. Now it seems like these rappers never learn. Why do rappers wake up one day and think to themselves, I'm gonna take a Glock to the airport. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah. It makes me wonder if some of them are doing it for publicity's sake. I don't know. Around 2018, Plies made headlines once again after he brought an unlicensed Glock 43 to the airport. Plies was trying to board a plane in Tampa, Florida, when security discovered the gun in his carry-on next to a fully loaded magazine. He was then arrested by the police for carrying a concealed weapon with no permit, although sources claimed he had accidentally grabbed the wrong bag when heading to the airport. He was later released after posting $2,000 bail, and the felony charges were dropped after he completed a concealed weapons course. It was also determined that he did have a valid permit for carrying a concealed weapon, although he was not carrying it at the time. Today, Plies is very active in the music industry as well as on Instagram. He has remained signed to the same trio of record labels since the start of his career: Slip and Slide, Big Gates, and Atlantic. He is currently single, but has a son with baby mama Brandy Lacole Lyons. His son was born way before Plies gained fame, all the way back around 2003. Unlike a lot of rappers, Plies really blew up on Instagram. He found another way to stay relevant by making people laugh and amassed a sizable following of 9 million followers, despite the fact that he only follows a grand total of 3 people, and one of them is Rihanna. After an amazing start to his career, he had a troubled decade, particularly because of his drama around guns and the streets. He continues to release music periodically and spends most of his money on vintage cars. He recently got his teeth redone, and you can catch him on Twitter with the handle @Plies and on IG under the same name. Plies is still doing shows and should be performing at the Easter Extravaganza around April of 2022. Plies also has a song with Kodak Black called Heart Mind. Got my mind. I think about you all the time. One that gave the artist new life. Plies gets about 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and his most popular songs on the platform are Heart Mind, Hypnotized, Shawty, Busted Baby, and all the above. That's it for me. It's your boy Ali.
I want you with no condom on. I'm trying to feel your inside. I get tested every 30 days. This dick verified. You like a street nigga, eat that pussy like I went to Pepperdine. All the pill was fake, I still ate it. Shit, bitch, so on. Oh, babe. Oh, babe.
Just real quick, but I was telling somebody this morning, and I apply this to my own life as well and other people's situations that I done seen from afar. Just because me and you ain't how we used to be, whether it's from a friend standpoint or maybe I could have been dating her, But just because we go our separate ways, for whatever the reason it was, it could have been my fault, could have been your fault, could have been neither one of our faults, could have been both our faults. All I'm saying is this: just because we don't rock how we used to rock, it doesn't mean we have to be enemies.
Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.